Step 1, put together the poles. There should be 4 of them, as you can see, and they have engravings on them, so right goes with right and left goes with left. Step 2, installing the wheel assembly. Keep in mind this is not screwed in yet, and this is the left pole assembly, and essentially you'll need both wheels. There's a rod that goes through the wheels. It ultimately goes through this bracket here, which has 4 slots in back, 2 slots in front, and then the rod comes out the other way through the other wheel, and there's a hole there where this pin goes, and then the washer. Well, the washer first and then the pin. The next step is to install the shoes. There's 2 of them on this right pole assembly with this bracket, along with these 2 screws that attach the bracket to the poles. These are part F. There should be 2 of them. The next step is to attach the side panel to the pole assembly, and you'll be attaching it using the screws that you used in the previous step, the F screws. There they are. And you want to attach it to the side of the poles that has the topmost screw slot, or the hole for the screw. The next step involves installing these 2 bars to the poles, attaching them using the same screws you used in the previous part. There should have already been a set of screws attached to the actual poles, so really you'll just only need 4 of them. Once you've installed the 2 bars that go across, the next thing you're going to install is this rod, and you're going to need part J. It's 1 screw, and you'll put the other piece through that hole that's in the side panel. So the next step is connecting the front panel to the actual grill base. Now my base came pre-installed with the burner tubes, and this is how they are hooked up. So to connect the actual front panel or the control panel to the actual base, you're going to need 4 screws, part F, and then also 4 washers. And that's where the screws go. After you've installed or connected the front panel, the control panel, to the actual base, the next thing you're going to want to do is turn the base around and connect the wire to the igniter, like so. After you've connected the igniter, you're going to want to flip the base around and install the burner knobs just by pushing them on. Next, you're going to want to take the base after you've connected the control panel, the front panel, and you're going to want to mount it onto the pole assembly with the wheels, and you're going to secure it using the 4 screws that are the F screws and then the E washers, like this. So there should be 4 holes inside of the base. The next thing you're going to want to install is this heat shield, which is underneath the base of the grill, and it gets attached by these 2 screws to the pole, and then there's also within the grill there's a place to screw in the 3rd screw, which has a washer that comes with it, and then also a nut that's attached on the other side. Now, after you've installed the heat shield, you're going to want to install the burner shelf. The burner shelf goes on the left-hand side of the grill, and you need to first install this plate here, this front plate for the burner shelf, where the knob will go, and that gets installed via 2 screws. These are the F screws, as you can see here, and then the burner shelf actually, or the base already had two screws pre-installed for the burner shelf, and then there's 2 more that you'll have to get the L screws. Once you've installed the burner shelf, you're going to want to install the actual, or connect the actual burner valve to this front panel over here where the knob goes, and you do that by basically taking 2 M screws and screwing them in. So once you've installed the first valve for the shelf, the burner shelf here, you're going to want to install this burner, and there's an opening, so you put the actual burner and the valve through there, and then you connect the 2 valves. To secure the burner itself, you're going to need the wing nut, and then you're going to need the washer, and it goes right there. Then you're going to want to make sure that these two are secure via the pin. That's where the pin goes. Like that, like so. You'll also notice there's a wire that comes from the burner, and that goes to the igniter, which is located right here on that front panel. And it's connected right underneath where the original igniter wire was connected. So that's how it's connected. Here's another picture of, or video of, how the igniter is connected. So once you've assembled the burner shelf and the burner itself, the next thing is just to put the grate on the shelf, and then you're also going to want to push in the knob. Just keep in mind that it doesn't go in all the way, but make sure that it's secured properly. Next, you're ready to install the right shelf. It's very easy to mount and connect. Similarly to how you connected the L shelf, there should already be 2 screws on the base, and then you basically just need 2 L screws like that. Next, you'll be working on the actual lid or the hood of the barbecue. And to install the handle, what you'll need, there are these 2 guards that come with it that go in between the handle, the end of the handles, and then the actual lid. And then you'll need 2 wing nuts, like so, and then also 2 washers. And then this is what it looks like once it's installed. So we've got the handle on, and now we're going to put on the hood or the lid of the grill. All you do is you simply take it and mount it, and make sure that the hinges, the holes, are aligned so that you can put there's 2 pins that go through the hinge pins that go through the holes, and then there's also this other pin that will go through the hinge pin, and that's kind of how it's put on. These hinges should have been pre-mounted or pre-installed. If they weren't, go ahead and install them. Okay, so we've got the hood, the lid of the barbecue on, and I've already installed the heat tents or the plates. They go over the burner tubes that are inside to protect them. In any case, really easy, you just slide them right in. Start with the front and then work your way all the way. There should be 3 of them. Next, you're going to want to install the grates, and I actually started with the bottom grate. You just place it on here, make sure you have the right side up, and then the same thing with the top grate. You're going to want to make sure that it is inserted properly so that when you open and close the grill like this, you have no issues opening and closing it, and that it just stands right up like that. So when you're barbecuing, depending on what you barbecue, there may be a lot of grease that comes when you're cooking the food from the actual food, and it drips into this base, and there's usually a hole underneath, like right here, which is ultimately connected to a grease pan, and that's what that is. You should have gotten one of these with your package, and all you do is you just hang it at this right here where the opening is. Voila, and that's that. The grill is assembled. You will notice that the matchstick holder there, in case the starter doesn't work, well, let's test it out, or the igniter I should say. It does look like it's going to work, but you do have a matchstick holder in case you need to light the grill manually. And then there are some spare screws, likely because some of the screws were already pre-installed. And don't be alarmed if you see some spare screws. I counted twice, so I do think that all of them have been installed that needed to be, so you might find some spares.